1996 was the last time NASCAR raced at North Wilkesboro. For many years, fans have been wanting this track to come back on NASCAR's schedule since its closure. The last time NASCAR raced here, I wasn't even born yet. But here we are in 2018, 22 years later, for the 2018 Summer Showdown here at the famed North Wilkesboro. Lots of excitement's in the air, and I'll tell you what, anything and everything can happen. 80 drivers are here to compete in a local Saturday night dirt track kind of way. From Bill Elliott to Earnhardt Jr. to Jeff Gordon to Chase Elliott to Kyle Busch to even the return of a driver who hasn't raced in the Cup Series in nearly a decade, Jeremy Mayfield. Lots of excitement in the air at North Wilkesboro, and I'm sure we're in for a blast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Summer Showdown.
What's going on, everyone? This is Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, and we are here today for the third annual Summer Showdown. I am joined here by our regular NASCAR podcast crew, Danny B, Jarrett, and Eric. So before we get into the big race, we had a lot of action beforehand. Danny, what stood out for you so far here at the Summer Showdown?
Well, Darian, I would have to say the fastest guys struggled to get into the big race. Bubba Wallace and Tony Stewart had the best cars but wrecked in the second round. Both of them had to race the BOWMAN beforehand, and Smoke never made it, finishing 12th. I'm very surprised about that. What about you, Jarrett?
I'd say the rise of Bobby Labonte and Kasey Kahne. Neither of them have won yet in the Summer Showdown, but they've been consistent throughout the weekend. Bobby and Kasey finished second and third in both rounds of heats. Chase Elliott won the first round and Jeremy Mayfield won the second respectively, but Bobby Labonte is on the pole tonight. With Kasey Kahne starting third, I think either of them can break through. Will either of them break through though? Let's send it over to Eric.
I would say the number of flips we've encountered so far. The flipping began in round 2, heat 3. Chris Buescher and Eric Jones went up and over in a double flip. Then on the first lap of heat 4, Jamie McMurray, who is in tonight's race, flipped down turn number 3. Finally in the C-main, Matt DiBenedetto flipped over on the front stretch. Will we see more flips tonight? Who can say? Back to you, Darian.
I want to mention some other big names not in the race tonight. 2 of the championship 4 are not in. Kyle Busch wrecked, and Martin Truex Jr. finished 11th in the B-main. Only the top 10 were allowed into the big race. Other big names include Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Clint Boyer, Denny Hamlin, Eric Almirola, and Eric Jones. Some surprises tonight include Tommy Joe Martins, Trevor Bayne, Phil Parsons, Ty Dillon, and Cody Ware. Can any of them make a statement here tonight?
Alright, let's talk about what to watch for tonight. We've seen some trends pop up over the heats and preliminary races. What are you watching for tonight, Jarrett?
I'm watching the overall track. This is a unique short track. The front stretch goes downhill and the back stretch goes uphill. No track on the current NASCAR schedule has that. Every driver has experience already, but can they keep it up for 100 laps? How about you, Eric?
I'm watching turn 4. We've seen a lot of calamity in that turn all night long. Cars were slipping and sliding all throughout turn 4. I'll be keeping an eye on that one, and I'm sure the rest of the field is aware of just how treacherous that turn can be. Darian, what are you looking out for?
I'm watching the older veterans of NASCAR. Besides Bobby, who we've mentioned already, Carl Edwards is back in a stock car and will start 13th. 1989 champion and 3-time Wilkesboro winner Rusty Wallace will start 17th. Others include Brian Vickers, who was sidelined by blood clots but is cleared for tonight. Others include Ward Burton, Phil Parsons, Jeff Gordon, Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and 2-time Cup Series champion Terry Labonte. We will see how they will stack up with the current drivers.
I would say pit stops. The tire fall off is incredible tonight. On new tires, we'll see sub 19 second laps, and worn down, we can see lap times down to 25 seconds. Will we see varying strategies here tonight? Also, this is the first Summer Showdown where pit stops are a factor.
Alright, let's make our picks. Eric, who do you have winning the Summer Showdown tonight?
My pick is Kyle Larson. Larson didn't have, great heat races, but he's redeemed himself well in the C and B mains. He's starting 31st, but when I talk to him, he's not worried at all. There's a lot of confidence in Larson, and I think he is going to win the 3rd annual Summer Showdown. Who do you got tonight, Darian?
Surprised none of you guys have mentioned Haley Diggin yet. Her short run speed in the first round is noteworthy. Plus, she's been making a name for herself this year in the K&N series, which is filled with short tracks. Her car is co-owned by Bill McNally, and her crew chief tonight is Kevin Reed Jr. This is significant because they helped Haley reach her first career win in the K&N series. I think she'll shock the world, and she'll get the job done tonight.
I would disagree, Darian. I got my man Alex Bowman tonight. Alex, like Kyle Larson, had a slower couple of heat races, but when I saw Bowman close on Bubba Wallace at the end of the B main, I know he'll be a threat tonight. Does not hurt that he's also starting 5th here today.
Alright, my pick is someone I mentioned earlier. Bobby Labonte is on a revenge tour. After an awful qualifying session, he's so far pulled off second place finishes in both rounds of heats. What's more, he's on the pole tonight. And finally, Jimmy Makar is back. Jimmy was Bobby's crew chief back in his championship season of 2000. I don't think the front row curse is going to hit Bobby tonight.
Alright, there you have it. Our show is over. Now on to pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for a moment of silence as we honor David Pearson. David earned 105 Career Cup wins. 2 of them are here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Thank you. Now please remain standing as Isaac Siekawitch will give today's invocation.
Thank you, God, for allowing us to be here today at North Wilkesboro Speedway in this beautiful, free country. We pray for the drivers and pit crew that they may have a competitive but safe race during this summer showdown. We pray for the military men and women overseas and at home that they and their families would have peace and security in their difficulties, and give them strength to do the amazing things they do for our country. We pray for all those in the stadium and those watching at home, that they can enjoy this wonderful showdown in the freedom that you have provided for them to be here. And finally, we thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross to save us from our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing as Ryan Settles will perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now it's time to start the race. Please welcome our Grand Marshals. Here for the command for tonight's race, we welcome the NASCAR YouTubers. They are N4S Videos, David Hutchins, G2V Gaming, Race Nation 48, Racing Fan 24842, NASCAR Nut 55, Jared Carey, Ben Snyder 4, Sonic Rules 831, John Mack, Pichu London, Shazane Reyna, Carpet Cup Series, Hunter Smith, and what incarnation?
Alright, let's get this year's Summer Showdown underway. Ladies and gentlemen,
Drivers, start your engines!
So there you have it. The engines have fired here for the 3rd annual Summer Showdown. Let's introduce the boys who will be calling the race: Griffin Spear, Benny Watson, and GENO HARVEY. Take it away, boys.
Thanks, Darian, and welcome everyone to the 2018 Summer Showdown here at the newly renovated North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now, last year, the Summer Showdown was canceled due to scheduling conflicts. Not this year, however. The Summer Showdown is back in a big way. As we mentioned at the beginning, the old is new again. We're going to go 100 straight up laps here, no double foul restarts, no overtime, just 100 straight laps, and whoever's the leader of lap 100 will win this race. We've currently gone through 2 full days of action here in North Wilkesboro with qualifying, heat races, mains, and we also just had another qualifying session to set up the lineup for the A main. And now the question is this: who is going to win the 3rd annual Summer Showdown? Now, before we get going here, let's introduce some new voices. I'm not going to be the only one commentating this race. Along with me is, on YouTube, his name is Napa Fan, but his real name, Benny Watson. Now, Benny, what are some of your thoughts coming into 2018 Summer Showdown?
We're in for a great race tonight. 100 laps from the good old days. We haven't raced here in 2 decades. Caution laps will count. Single file restarts just like before 2009. If any of you know me, I'm a big advocate for single file restarts. I think they're awesome. And of course, we got pit stops. The unsung warriors will flex their muscles tonight and aid their drivers during the race. Just like what the teaser says, Griff. The old is new tonight here at North Wilkesboro.
Thanks, Benny. Greatly appreciate it. Now, let's introduce our other commentator. He has gone by numerous names. He has over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he's been known by several names, including JG24, JM26, also known as Duck. He's also known as the Aflac Cup Series, but we all know him as GENO HARVEY. Now, GENO, what are some of your thoughts coming into the 3rd annual Summer Showdown?
Honestly, I'm excited for all the story arcs to unfold tonight. Drivers from the past, present, and future are all here. Can Bobby Labonte win tonight? How will pit stops unfold? Will the ladies compete with the gentlemen? A lot to unfold, and we'll have 100 laps to see it all happen. This will be great.
Thanks, GENO. Thank you so much again for coming aboard. But now, it's time to introduce the starting lineup here for the 3rd annual Summer Showdown. Now, to give us the starting lineup, our pit reporters are going to do the honors. We're going to start from back to front, starting at 43rd position, and NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 on YouTube has over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. He will start us off. NRF 15, take it away.
Alright, thanks Griff. Starting 43rd is Terry Labonte. Terry is a 2-time champion and a 4-time winner here at North Wilkesboro. Let's send it to Luis Torres.
Starting 42nd is Julia Landauer. With a degree from Stanford, Julia is on the comeback trail, ready to make something happen. To William Crossland.
Thank you, Louise. Starting 41st is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Jr. is done with full-time racing, but is excited to return and compete at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now, Steve Letarte returns tonight as Dale Jr.'s crew chief. Our final pit reporter tonight is Caleb Hoffman.
Thanks, William. Starting 40th is Cody Ware. Ware finished 5th in the second round of heats, and that helped Ware punch his ticket to the big dance. But Ware has a long way to go from the back to NRF 15.
Starting 39th is Paul Menard. Paul finished 2nd in the second round to enter the A main after spinning out in the first round. Paul is ready for the big dance.
Starting 38th is the polarizing Austin Cindric. He is currently an Xfinity Series driver with a full-time ride set with Roger Penske next season. but his main focus for tonight? Complete all 100 laps at Wilkesboro.
Starting 37th is Kevin Harvick. Harvick was a championship 4 contender in 2018, however he barely made it into the big dance tonight, with a decent finish in the B main. Keep your eye out on the closer tonight.
Starting 36th is Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton's final full season was back in 2013, but he's ready to get back in the saddle again, with NBC supporting the new Richard Childress Racing entry.
Starting 35th is Daniel Suarez. Suarez won the 5th heat of round 2, which is filled with the fastest cars. Suarez will start farther back in the field.
Starting 34th is Chase Elliott, the 3-time Cup winner and 2014 Xfinity champion, is starting to make his name for himself in NASCAR. Chase also won the 8th heat in round 1.
Starting 33rd is Jeremy Mayfield. Mayfield is a former Cup winner who is ready for the ultimate comeback story. Watch for him to make a move to the front early.
Starting 32nd is Matt Tifft. Tifft had brain surgery a couple years ago. Now with 2 full Xfinity seasons under his belt, Matt has a bright future ahead of him, and he wants to get in victory lane in the Summer Showdown.
Starting 31st is Kyle Larson. The active Cup driver also has a foot in dirt racing as well, and he's ready to conquer this former dirt track.
Starting 30th is Ty Dillon. Ty has been struggling since joining the Cup Series with only 1 top 10 in his name. But after finishing 2nd in round 2, Ty has a new burst of confidence here at the old Speedway.
Starting 29th is the 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. After going winless in 2018, Jimmy, Chad, and Lowe's team up one last time for the biggest race of the year.
Starting 28th is Johnson's teammate Jeff Gordon. Ray Evernham, the Rainbow Colors, and DuPont, loaned out from Dow, are together once more. Jeff is the last winner here at North Wilkesboro, and he wants to get back where he left off by ending up in victory lane.
Starting 27th is Phil Parsons. This will be Phil's final race in a stock car as he'll continue to mentor his son, Stephen Parsons. Phil pays tribute to his brother, the late Benny Parsons.
Starting 26th is Noah Gragson. This will be Gragson's final race under the Toyota banner for now, as he'll race for JR Motorsports in the Xfinity Series next year.
Starting 25th tonight is Jamie McMurray. Now Jamie flipped in round 2, but redeemed himself nicely by winning the C main. The question tonight, can number 1 finish number 1?
Starting 24th is Elliott Sadler. Sadler will retire from full-time racing after tonight, but his focus is to get that elusive Summer Showdown trophy.
Starting 23rd is AJ Allmendinger. AJ had an impressive round 1 to launch him to the big dance, but will this be his final drive? AJ will be out of this ride after tonight.
Starting 22nd will be AJ's replacement, Ryan Preece. Preece has proven to be a winner back in 2017 at Iowa Speedway, but can the former modified driver prove himself again tonight?
Starting 21st is Joey Logano. The recently crowned 2018 champion has a lot to look forward to as he starts in the middle of the pack. Joey will drive the number 22 Menards Dodge tonight.
Starting 20th is Ward Burton. Ward will make his one and only start for Richard Childress tonight, with Caterpillar returning to sponsor the Elder Burton.
Starting 19th is the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman. Ryan finished 5th in round 2 to propel himself into the big show. Can he give Richard Childress one last win before departing for Roush?
Starting 18th is Brian Vickers. He was sidelined with blood clots, but he is cleared for the night. Will the comeback story begin right here at Wilkesboro?
Starting 17th is the short track legend himself, Rusty Wallace. Rusty is one of the few drivers to have raced here at the Borough before the Summer Showdown, earning 3 wins along the way.
Starting 16th is Trevor Bayne, who shocked everyone by winning the 2011 Daytona 500. In his final start for Roush, can Trevor shock the world one more time?
Starting 15th is Daniel HEMRIC. Daniel is from nearby Kannapolis, North Carolina, just like the man in black. Dale Earnhardt has won here 5 times. Can Daniel earn his first win?
Starting 14th is Kurt Busch. This will be Kurt's final race for Stewart-Haas Racing. After falling just short of making it to the Championship 4, Kurt is all in on the night.
Starting 13th is Carl Edwards. Carl is back for this one-off race with both Joe Gibbs and former sponsor Office Depot. His goal tonight, to have a good time and, of course, win.
Starting 12th is Tommy Joe Martins. Tommy Joe is driving for BJ McLeod Motorsports and will drive the famous number 28 here tonight.
Starting 11th is Natalie Decker. Natalie is driving a new Chevy entry for HEMRIC Motorsports with Hertz and N29 as sponsorship. Can she complete all 100 laps with the other stars?
Starting 10th is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse loves short tracks and feels at home here. Even though he's never raced at Wilkesboro before, he has a strong Ford and could be a serious threat tonight.
Starting 9th is Ryan Blaney. Ryan, along with all the other Penske cars, are back to Dodges for tonight in a hope that one day Dodge can return to NASCAR.
Starting 8th is Bubba Wallace. The same number Bubba is driving won here a record 15 times. Can Bubba bring the new Domino's Dodge to victory number 16 tonight at North Wilkesboro?
Starting 7th is Brad Keselowski. The last time Keselowski won a championship was in a Dodge. Even though it's been 6 years, Brad feels right at home back in a number 2 Dodge.
Starting 6th is Hailie Deegan, and only 17 years old, she has a lot of pressure, but is beating the odds already by winning her heat in round 1. Will this unremorseful competitor come through and beat the odds again tonight?
Starting 5th tonight is Alex Bowman. Bowman the showman had a slow start here, but came back strong to win the B main and place his spot into the big show.
Starting 4th is William Byron. William wasn't all too happy to be out of the 24 ride, but with a superb qualifying run earlier today, he hopes people will remember the name, William Byron.
Starting 3rd is Kasey Kahne. Tonight is Kasey Kahne's swan song. Can he win one more time before setting off into the sunset? He has an excellent shot to do so, and he'll start further up front.
Starting outside pole is Christopher Bell. Christopher has plenty of experience on slick racetracks. Can the most successful rookie in Xfinity Series history make some noise tonight for Furniture Row Racing?
And finally, sitting on the pole tonight is the 2000 NASCAR Cup champion, Bobby Labonte. Bobby had a dismal qualifying session from yesterday morning, but ever since then, Bobby's been knocking. Is this Bobby's night? Well, we'll find out in 100 short laps. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, guys. You will hear from all of them throughout the night. But now, the 2018 Summer Showdown is about to start. It will be 100 laps to make up the A main in the 2018 Summer Showdown.
With a downhill front stretch and an uphill back stretch, we are in for quite a race. The whole world is watching, and we're glad you came along for the ride. The first race in 22 years, who's gonna get it done?
The drivers climb up the backstretch hill, and we will go through the top 5. Bobby Labonte's on the pole. To his outside is Christopher Bell. Kasey Kahne in his last NASCAR event. To his outside is the rookie William Byron, and then Alex Bowman starts 5th for today's event.
Pace car is in, they're past the start line, and the green is dropped. We are racing here for the first time in 22 years at North Wilkesboro.
Labonte with the jump on the start. Kasey Kahne to the inside for the second position on Christopher Bell. They're side by side throughout a majority of the positions down the backstretch as Bobby Labonte pulls away and leads lap number 1.
Blaney is looking to the inside. Hailie Deegan is looking high as Bobby Labonte has now pulled away.
Off of turn 2 is Hailie Deegan to the outside of Brad Keselowski, and here comes Ryan Blaney trying to get it underneath his teammate Brad Keselowski as the caution is out.
And it does appear that the 27 and the 51 got together entering turn number 1 on lap 2 of the event.
Everyone else comes back to the line fairly clean, and we're going to reset here, and I believe it is too early for pit stops.
We just got these cars fired up and ready to go, but we are halted early due to a crash between Cody Ware and Austin Cindric.
Louise, what do you have on Austin Cindric?
Austin came on the radio and told his crew chief Brian Wilson to tell Cody Ware's team to back off. There's no reason to race this hard this early. Clearly, Austin Cindric is upset. He will probably not win the Summer Showdown tonight.
Thanks for the report, Louise. So as everyone slows up here, we're going to take a look at the replay here of what brought out the first caution here at North Wilkesboro.
Watch, he's going to try and think about 3 wide here, thinking about it, maybe I shouldn't. Tries to back out, realizes it's too late to brake, and just into Austin Cindric. right there, heading right into turn 1, and Cody Ware probably should have rethought that decision, trying to go for the home run 2 laps into this event, and ends up costing him and Austin Cindric their days, but they will stay on the track, but still.
Take another look here. Should be noted that Austin Cindric is going to be full-time Xfinity racing next year in 2019. He's going to drive the 22 car. Before, the 22 car is usually shared by Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, but next year it is all Austin Cindric.
A very unfortunate accident for those guys, however. It is minor damage on those machines, and they should be able to stay on the lead lap. Coming to the restart here in the 2018 Summer Showdown. Bobby Labonte is the leader here at North Wilkesboro.
The field has gotten the 1 to go here. As we mentioned before, Bobby Labonte, who is crew chief for this race, is Jimmy Makar. It's been a while since Jimmy Makar has crew chief the race. Jimmy Makar, if you guys remember, is the 2000 Cup Series champion crew chief for Bobby Labonte when he won the championship back in 2000.
Followed by Kasey Kahne, Alex Bowman.
Christopher Bell, we mentioned him early, started second outside pole, already back to 4th place. We'll see if he can get revenge on this restart and possibly pick up those positions that he lost, because he had a lot of confidence coming to this race as well, but it does not look like he's got the car to beat early on in the going, but still, it is early. But right now, it's all Bobby Labonte. He's up front leading this race, and he's ready to bring him back to the green flag.
A couple of cars went to the inside on the front straightaway into turn number 1 as Tommy Joe Martins goes underneath Carl Edwards. And I just wonder if he jumped the gun, and it looks like everything is clear.
Labonte trying to pull away. Here comes Alex Bowman for the 2nd position on Kasey Kahne. And he's got the run to the inside. He barely edged out Bubba Wallace in the B main.
With Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski, that's going to force Bubba up the track. And Wallace goes up there and hits the wall, collecting Brad Keselowski. We stay green. No caution for that incident, but that definitely hurt Bubba Wallace's right side along with Brad Keselowski.
Bubba's going to lose 4 positions as HEMRIC and Edwards, along with NATALIE Decker and Tommy Joe Martins, have passed by them. Meanwhile, up farther ahead, there's plenty of battling ahead, as now Deegan is inside the top 5, as well as Ryan Blaney and Ricky Stenhouse is looking underneath Christopher Bell.
My man Caleb, update on Tommy Joe Martins.
The Summer Showdown officials have warned Tommy Joe Martins to not pass on the inside before the start-finish. Since he did not advance his position, though, he is not going to be black flagged by NASCAR. Tommy just said 10-4, and he's now battling NATALIE Decker for the 9th position.
Thanks, Caleb, and like I say, Caleb's been a friend of mine for 4 years. Great to be calling him here tonight at North Wilkesboro.
And there's Rusty Wallace. Never raced this paint scheme at North Wilkesboro, but he's got a great-looking Miller Lite Dodge, trying to make his way up through the field on Daniel HEMRIC for that 10th position.
As now Rusty Wallace looking underneath HEMRIC, and now that is going to be for 10th position as Joey Logano.
And Wallace will take it away from the 35 for the 10th position. Joey Logano looking to follow suit to the inside of HEMRIC as well, and here comes Brian Vickers in the number 93. Ward Burton looking to the inside of Daniel HEMRIC now.
Meanwhile, up ahead, Bobby Labonte continues to lead every single lap.
Off of turn 2, up the hill they go. It's Bobby Labonte growing that lead to 0.8 of a second now. And then there's Haley Deegan running inside the top 5. Nice quiet run for her so far. Looking sharp in at number 76, Auto Owners Insurance Toyota Camry.
Daniel HEMRIC looking to take the position loose off the corner. A lot of these guys getting loose off of turn number 4 here tonight. Bubba Wallace has fallen back to the 21st position in the number 43, so halfway through the field for him right now as he got stuck on the outside lane.
Brian Vickers, 2003 BUSCH Series champion, goes underneath Logano. That is now for 11th, as Rusty Wallace is currently in 10th, as Martins is now looking underneath William Byron. That will be for 8th, as Martins is now underneath.
Johnson will take the position away from Bain and Edwards. They're still 3 wide. Johnson will clear. Here comes McMurray, the C-Main winner from earlier this morning.
Trouble for Ricky Stenhouse. Lewis?
The right rear part of Ricky's car is starting to vibrate tremendously. He thinks it may be a flat wheel. He's just going to ride it out for a few more laps, but if it gets worse, he'll have no choice but to come down on pit road.
We'll keep an eye out for that. Thanks, Lewis.
As now going back here, Rusty Wallace slips a little high. Brian Victor's now side by side. Brian Victor's crew chief for this race is Lance McGrew, as Brian Victor's is doing everything he can to show that he is no fluke. Jimmy Johnson, we want to mention him. He is one of the 2 cars that has advanced from the C main. 3, I should say. McMurray is just a couple spots behind, as Johnson is now looking underneath Ward Burton.
To 6th place, as Ricky Stenhouse has about, I say, 50 car lengths on the number 79. But he's right behind the 12 of Ryan Blaney and the 76 of Haley Deegan. Bobby Labonte currently with a near 2-second lead on Alex Bowman, as he is charging away with this victory. As
we do have a caution on the racetrack. That is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
It does appear that Stenhouse has gone around.
Tire is flat. Right rear has come off the car. Stenhouse is completely upset. He'll roll it back down to pit road, put on 4 new sticker tires, but will fall 1 lap down under the 2nd caution of the night.
Stenhouse was running 6th at the time, as he has now made it onto pit road. And a very huge impact here for Stenhouse and the Roush team.
And we will have ourselves our first set of pit stops in tonight's event. Tire wear will be a factor in this event, so these guys would love to get some fresh Goodyears on their machines.
Let's send it down to William Crossland. William?
GENO, Bobby Labonte has been pretty quiet on the radio, but he does say the car is good in 1 and 2, but loose in 3 and 4. The pit crew will take 1 round of wedge out and will give Bobby Labonte 4 fresh Goodyears. Alex Bowman is up to 2nd, but knows he'll need to make adjustments if he wants to catch Labonte. He'll put a round of wedge into the left rear of the car and take 4 fresh tires as well. Now let's send it to NRF 15.
Kasey Kahne is happy to be back in this short race. He's been hydrating all race long. Kahne will take another water bottle on this pit stop. Otherwise, no changes to the car, as the crew will put on 4 stickers for the 95 team.
Oh, and we got trouble in the pits for Joey Logano. Ward Burton misjudged his pit box there and slammed hard into the right side of Joey Logano. The 2018 champion is on pit road longer than expected to fix this damage, and he will fall a lap down. Tough luck for the 2018 champion.
As we saw in the footage, Logano got into some collision on the front straightaway there. We'll take a look at one replay here to see what happened to Joey Logano. Coming on the pit road, Joey Logano, he was coming in normally. Believe it was William Byron who got into Logano as Logano makes his way in.
Holy smokes, Joey Logano was definitely unprepared for that. Ward Burton's just going to be like, no, never mind, I didn't see anything. I'm just going to continue my pit stop here as Logano and his team got involved with some heavy contact with Ward Burton on pit road. Yeah, Ward really just smoked Logano there. Not sure what was going on there, but now Logano, unfortunately, is going to be a lap down as he had to repair.
He is going to fall 1 lap down, and he's going to have a long way to go if he wants to make his way back up to the front in the Menards 22 Dodge. Field has gotten the 1 to go here as Ricky Stenhouse and Joey Logano are the first 2 cars 1 lap down.
A lap down as he had to repair some damage to that bright neon 22. Probably gives Ward the bird as he drives by there. So Alex Bowman did win the race off pit road. Good for Alex. He's going to be your race leader here as we get ready to go.
We are ready to restart on lap number 26 of 100, a quarter of the way through the A-Main in the 2018 Summer Showdown from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Alex Bowman is the leader. Now Ricky Stenhouse Jr. also a lap down. It's Bowman, Labonte, Kahne, Blaney, and Christopher Bell.
Green flag is back out here at Wilkesboro.
Oh, Stenhouse fighting hard on the inside. He does have a good car. He's going to cause havoc for the race leaders as he passes Alex Bowman to stay on that lead lap.
And Logano is trying to do the same thing as 3 wide for the lead. Bobby Labonte through the middle, and Bobby Labonte with a very dicey move is going to move his way up to the front.
But Kahne is still on the inside as they almost go 4 wide. Kahne trying to move Logano out of the way. Christopher Bell behind the 95. He's going to move Blaney up into the outside wall, and a hard crash.
Blaney's on his side, collecting more cars. ELLIOTT SADLER involved. Oh my goodness, they are piling in here in turn 4.
Don't believe Dale Jr. got any damage. but we have a huge wreck here, and that'll bring out the third caution of the night. Elliott Sadler, we're just following him right now. Lots of front end damage to his car. Ryan Blaney, as we mentioned before, he saw him go up on his side. I'm going to be very curious if Blaney is going to continue racing. He is driving, which that's miraculous within itself. But again, I'm going to be very curious if he does continue on. Daniel HEMRIC already on pit road. We mentioned before that Daniel HEMRIC is in the Cup Series next year. Ryan Newman, the car that Daniel HEMRIC is going to be replacing.
Ryan Newman's got a lot of front nose damage to that 31 Cabela's Chevrolet. Such a beautiful paint scheme torn up here under the lights in North Wilkesboro.
And many other drivers stacked right into the incident. Kurt Busch, Natalie Decker, Elliott Sadler, all with heavy damage. Tommy Joe Martins as well in the number 28. And he had such a promising run earlier on in the event. It looks like he's going to fall behind after this one.
So a little bit of chaos a quarter of the way through this race. Bobby Labonte just took the lead, and he's about to set sail in the field again. But fortunately for the field, and not fortunate for others, but Kasey Kahne, Alex Bowman, they get another shot at Bobby Labonte on this next restart. Everybody will stay out here with the exception of those who were involved in the accidents. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the third caution of the night here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Alright, so this is going through turns 1 and 2. They are really going to force the issue here, trying to fight for that race lead. See, everyone wants it here. Everyone's going over the limit, trying to get to the front because, as Bobby Labonte proved, that fresh air is great for the race car. It gets them out in front. And here comes Blaney. All right. It looks like it's going to be Christopher Bell. Oh, man. I thought Blaney had the right to get down, and Bell just drove it in there. Oh, he barely clips Alex Bowman. And right here's where the big hit comes in. Tommy Joe Martins clips the side of Ryan Blaney. Then Blaney gets down into Daniel HEMRIC and Elliott Sadler. And then there's Ryan Newman going to get into it. But Blaney just on his side, got some air with that hit. Definitely not good for that. And there's Natalie Decker and looks like Ty Dillon as well getting involved in this one.
And you can see right here, Ryan Blaney tried to cut to the inside, but Christopher Bell was there. Bell had the inside. He wanted to go 3 wide, and Blaney was unaware of the 79 to his inside. Then comes back down as Tommy Joe Martins has nowhere to go in the 28. Rusty Wallace avoids this, but Daniel HEMRIC does not, and he runs right into the 12, sending Ryan Blaney up. The Natalie Decker from behind runs into Ryan Blaney as she had nowhere to go in the incident either.
Another replay here, and then Bell actually does pick on up because there you see Brian Vickers underneath Christopher Bell. I think Vickers did hit the inside wall, and then Daniel HEMRIC just pops up into Ryan Blaney. One thing I just realized is that Ryan Preece got quite a bit of damage. That's the first time I saw him, so Ryan Preece's chance at doing something good in this race is going to be dashed. But again, I'm very surprised that this wreck was not bigger. So it ended up being about a 7-8 car wreck, I would say. But quite a number of big names have gone behind the wall. Hey William, do you have an update on Ryan Blaney?
Well, Griff, Ryan is okay, first of all, but visibly upset. I got a word from Ryan. He said Christopher Bell has no reason to race so hard so early. Blaney did mention to me, though, that he is happy that he gets to race at Wilkesboro, even though his night does end early. Louise, do you have an update on Bell?
Christopher Bell came over on the radio to tell the 12 team he takes the blame for the crash. No noticeable damage to the front of Bell's car as he currently sits in 4th. To NRF 15.
I spoke to Daniel HEMRIC after he got out of his car. He was shaken up a little bit, but he is okay. Daniel mentioned that he had no time to react when Blaney came down the track. Daniel also mentioned how awesome it is to race again on the historic .625 mile speedway. To Caleb.
I spoke to both Tommy Joe Martins and Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler said he wished he could have raced a little longer on the Speedway, but is thankful for finishing his Cup career on the Wilkesboro Speedway. Tommy Joe Martins was smiling when speaking to me. He said he had a fast car all weekend long and is thankful for both BJ McLeod and the Save the Speedway in their attempts to bring the Speedway back to full song. Back to the booth.
The field has gotten the 1 to go here as we are now have 32 laps complete. Tommy Joe Martins, Ryan Blaney, Elliott Sadler, and Daniel HEMRIC are all out of the race from that wreck.
Bobby Labonte in the race lead. Joey Logano is going to be to his inside, thanks to Ward Burton, as Logano's just 1 lap down now. But he'll be to the inside of Bobby Labonte and Kasey Kahne, Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell. We're going to see if Joey Logano can have a little fun with this restart, trying to stay on that lead lap. He's going to have some work cut out for him. That 80 Interstate Batteries Camry is bad fast, and he's looking to keep it out front and keep Logano behind him to hold up Kasey Kahne, Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, and Brian Vickers.
Let's get to our third restart of the night. Here in the A main of the 2018 Summer Showdown, Bobby Labonte, the leader, in the number 80.
Bonnie's clear by a car length over Kasey Kahne in the turn 1. What a restart for Bobby Labonte. He was on the throttle, ready to go for that one, and he is clear by 2 car lengths now over Kasey Kahne.
Side by side, can Alex Bowman do anything with Kasey Kahne as Bowman swings a little high? And Trevor Bayne, farther behind, is looking underneath Jimmy Johnson for 7th.
Alex Bowman trying to utilize the inside lane to catch up to the 95, but he's unable to do so as Logano is simply too slow to compete with Kasey Kahne.
And then here's Alex Bowman trying to take advantage of Kasey Kahne being trapped on the outside. Can he get to the inside?
Vickers is now looking underneath Christopher Bell. That'll be for 4th. And how about 3rd too, as Bowman is a little bit high and Ward Burns is going to be right behind him as well.
Bobby Labonte has led the most laps here tonight in the 2018 Summer Showdown A main event.
I'm sure Logano's not too pleased with being trapped. Lap down, we got to spin in front of the field. It's Brian Vickers.
Vickers is sideways as Bowman gets into him, and we got a pile up here on the front straight away.
And they stack up once again. Paul Menard right in the Jeff Burton, Suarez, and Kurt Busch again.
Caution is out for the 4th time here at North Wilkesboro. Car slow up here, Bobby Labonte, and looks like he's trying to pass all those cars, but they're going to get back on the lead lap, so no worries there.
Holy cow, Ryan Preece involved, Paul Menard, look at all that damage. Oh my gosh. Jeff Burton, here's Brian Vickers, Trevor Bayne.
And 3rd place is now Ward Burton in the 36 as he found a way around Christopher Bell. Haley Deegan runs in the 5th position.
Look at all the damage on the left side of Vickers' car. And we're following him, and it looks like it's going to be a split agenda. Haley Deegan is on pit road. Kasey Kahne is on pit road. Let's see, who else is on pit road? Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick.
And our F15, why did Kasey Kahne come down the pit lane?
On the first run with new tires, Kasey Kahne noticed quickly that you can gain a lot of time. Even though it's only 20 laps since the last pit stops, Kasey shows that 4 fresh Goodyear tires will get him to the front. Daniel Suarez got quite a bit of damage to the rear of his car, so they'll repair that damage, but the first thing he said is, "Give me 4 fresh tires." Even with damage, he thinks he can work to the front. To Caleb.
Ward made the decision to stay on track and he will restart in the 2nd position. He believes this race will be a wreck fest, and he believes that the safest place to be is the front. Jeff Gordon has gone to the garage. He's all smiles but disappointed in not finishing the race. He would like to see this track back to its active self, loves the racing, and will love to bring this track back. To Luis.
Haley Deegan and Brian Vickers decided to come in for 4 fresh tires. Deegan likes the way her car is driving, and her crew chief, Kevin Reed Jr., was Haley's crew chief when she won her first K&N race at Meridian Speedway. Brian Vickers was actually surprised when he came down on pit road. He mentioned that his damage to the left side of his car is familiar. His crew chief, Lance McGrew, confirmed that their damage was similar to the damage received in the 2nd round of heats. What happened there? He won his seat. William.
Louise, Bobby agrees with Ward Burton. Bobby believes we will see more cautions, and he thinks the best place to be is out front. He also did acknowledge to crew chief Jimmy McCarr that he will probably have to make one more pit stop in order to win this race. Jimmy Johnson will restart back in 22nd. He's lucky not to get more damage from that wreck, and is surprised the wreck was not bigger. Jimmy came down pit road, took 4 tires, and will start behind Deegan. Back to the booth.
Let's go ahead and see what happened to Brian Vickers to bring out the 4th caution of the night here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway.
All right, so here we go. Instant replay of what happened On the track, you got Brian Vickers currently in the 3rd position. Just got by Alex Bowman. What a great move to do so as well. Looks like he clips the inside of Joey Logano, and that spins him around. Logano stays straight, but Vickers goes sideways right in front of the field. Wow, and then Alex Bowman's going to hit him. And watch Chase Elliott here. Ooh! Oh my gosh! Chase Elliott just gets by. Can't say the same for his teammate Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman and Jeff Gordon. They all pile in here.
Watch again. As you see, Bowman was on the high side, so he really had nowhere to go because both Ward Burton and Christopher Bell were to the bottom of Alex Bowman. Deegan, Gregson, Jeremy Mayfield, Larson, Chase Elliott. Wait, did Chase Elliott get on through? Just barely. But then once Johnson slid sideways, there was absolutely nowhere to go because he had Johnson on the bottom, Vickers in the middle, and then Trevor Bayne to the high side. And then quite a few cars were checking up pretty well, and look at Dale Jr. farther in the back. He pretty much all but stopped. He might have gotten a little bit of front end damage, but it's nothing too cosmetic.
An unfortunate event, all because of a single car's spin. But unfortunately, that's the way the table turns here at North Wilkesboro. That incident happening right at the start-finish line. They were coming full throttle on Brian Vickers. Bobby Labonte still leads the field here at North Wilkesboro. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the 2018 Summer Showdown.
So now with this mixed pit strategy, we're going to watch the back of this field because, as we said, about half the field did come down pit road that time. To be more specific, Kasey Kahne is currently 20th as he was the first car to come down pit road. Hailie Deegan is in second of the group, is currently in 21st. Jimmy Johnson 22nd. Brian Vickers with the damage to the left side 23rd. Kevin Harvick with quite a bit of rear end damage 24th. A little more damage than Brian Vickers, so I don't think he'll be moving up as quick. Sarah Labonte 25th. Then we got Julia Landauer in 26th, followed by Kurt Busch. Sorry, as they have taken the one to go. So you got Kurt Busch, Natalie Decker, Dale Jr., Phil Parsons, and Daniel Suarez, all on the lead lap, as well as Cody Ware, and they all pitted. So unfortunately, through the madness, a couple of cars did fall a lap down. Those include Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse, falls a lap down again, Matt Tifft, and Joey Logano is still a lap down.
We'll restart on lap 42 of 100, and Bobby Labonte still out front in the number 80. Kasey Kahne came down the pit road, and you guys got the information on that. Thanks to our pit reporters down in the pit lane. I'd like to extend a thank you to all 4 of them for helping us out here tonight for the 2018 Summer Showdown.
So Bobby Labonte stays out front from the call from Jimmy Makar. Ward Burton to second place now, as lots of cars in front of him pitted.
So the pace car pulls on in. We are going to have 42 laps complete. Bobby Labonte is your leader. He did not pit. Ward Burton is second, followed by Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman fourth, and Noah Gragson in fifth. We are back racing here at Wilkesboro.
Ward Burton gets a great jump, does not let Bobby Labonte get too far out. Ward Burton's going to overdrive it, and Ty Dillon, a lap down driver, slides up in front of him. Here comes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now he's in the position to get the lucky dog here in North Wilkesboro.
Labonte is unstoppable here tonight. Been able to lift off on these restarts very well. He's got Ricky Stenhouse right behind him, though. I don't know how much that'll affect him.
As we are side by side, farther in the back. Of all the positions, Trevor Bayne is trying to move forward as Jeremy Mayfield, as he is moving to the inside. He was one of the winners of the second round, as Trevor Bayne and Noah Gragson get into each other.
Side by side for second, Christopher Bell to the inside of Ward Burton, and he's going to take it easily away from the 36.
But the focus is on Hailie Deegan, who took tires in that number 76 Furniture Row Toyota Camry, teammates with Martin Truex Jr., who unfortunately did not make the A main, but she is racing tonight along with her teammate Christopher Bell.
Hailie Deegan has a very strong car, especially with the 4 tires. Tires mean everything. Kasey Kahne, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Kevin Harvick is holding steady for the moment.
3 wide, Gragson falling back in the 81, Bubba Wallace, Trevor Bayne, all getting to the inside of Gragson. And Gragson in a very bad position right here as that outside lane 3 wide.
We got a heck of a battle here as Carl Edwards is looking underneath both Trevor Bayne and Noah Gragson, and they're all in the top 10 for the moment. And look who's behind Brad Keselowski. That is Hailie Deegan once again.
Poor Bane got used up in that last incident as Allmendinger and Brad Keselowski and Hailie Deegan trying to slice her way through these gentlemen here. Move away, just a 17-year-old racing against the big boys.
Joey Logano looks pretty fast considering the damage he has from that incident on the pit lane a little while ago, and he is going to dive to the inside of Christopher Bell and put him on the outside lane. For third, Jeremy Mayfield on Ward Burton, and Mayfield's going to take it away easily from the 36. Here comes Kyle Larson in the 42. He's fast. And that 42 is going to dive to the inside of Ward Burton and attempt to take another position away.
Bobby Labonte's kind of on his own island, 2 seconds ahead of Christopher Bell.
And there's Mayfield. How about that? Up to third place, working his way up to second place, Christopher Bell. And 1 and 2 are just like the race start. Bobby Labonte on the pole, Christopher Bell starting second. They run 1-2 right now.
Jamie McMurray, Bubba Wallace, Noah Gragson, Carl Edwards, Hailie Deegan in the top 10. Just outside the top 10 is Trevor Bayne. Kasey Kahne has moved his way back up to the 12th position. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Brian Vickers is now up front in the top 15 once again as he was spun around under the last caution, trying to rebound, and he's doing a decent job so far as he currently runs 15th.
As we reach the halfway point in this race, let's do a little through the field. Let's start with our leader, and William.
The 80 is enjoying a comfortable lead out front. Crew Chief Joey McCarr has continued to inform Bobby of lap times by Vickers and Deegan. Bobby knows they're catching him, but he's not worried about it just yet. To Louise.
The 79 of Bell is loose coming off turn 4. He believes that they will need to pit at least one more time. The team plans to come in around lap 80 unless a caution happens before then. Back to William.
The 15 of Mayfield believes his car is better on the long runs. Like Labonte, Mayfield is aware of the drivers that pitted later than him, but he believes a caution will come out before they ever catch him. To NRF 15.
Guys, the 42 of Kyle Larson loves his car on worn tires as he knows he will need new tires. But Larson absolutely believes that if they all take tires at the same time and have a long run, Larson will be a threat for the win. To Caleb.
Ward is currently inside the top 10, but he's starting to feel a vibration in the car. Ward's crew chief for this race is Ken Evans. They're in discussion of possibly coming down pit road in the next 5 to 10 laps, but they are also banking on a caution coming out relatively soon. Back to William once more.
And the C-Main winner has made his presence known late in this race. McMurray, who will not be racing full-time in 2019, wants to end his career on a high note. McMurray believes there won't be a caution at the end of this race, and their team plans to come down pit road around lap 83 for 4 fresh tires. Louise.
Noah Gragson had a strong car in the B main. Same situation for the A main. He has a hard time with the drivers that took fresh tires, but Noah believes that once everyone is on equal tires, the 20-year-old will win the 3rd annual Summer Showdown. Hailie Deegan, meanwhile, has a stellar car. She's been making moves through the field. The team plans to stay out unless a caution flies. They've been on the rails, but so has Brian Vickers. The number 93 team was not formed until a few days after the Summer Showdown was announced. Vickers has been battling block class. Now he's battling for possibly the 3rd Summer Showdown championship. Vickers likes the car, but it's a little tight off turn 2. The Caleb.
Bubba Wallace is fortunate to race the A main after a disastrous round 2, but he had to race the B main to get in. Bubba believes that since he had to race the extra 50 laps, that drained him of energy. He's holding steady, but he would like another caution to see if he can capitalize on what's otherwise been a stellar Summer Showdown weekend. Back to William.
Guys, Dale Jr. in that familiar number 8 loves his car so far. He's working his way up to the top 10 with fresh tires, but is taking extra caution as he works his way up. If you'll recall, he was sidelined half of 2016 due to concussion-like symptoms. Junior will race hard, but will back out of it if the situation isn't worth it. To NRF 15.
And Daniel Suarez in the 19 has one of the fastest cars right now, despite the damage to the rear of his vehicle. No other issues with Suarez and his final ride in the 19 Toyota. To William.
Jimmy Johnson believes he has used up his new tires. He took new tires with Vickers, Deegan, Jr., and others, but Johnson believes he went too hard and is starting to fall back. Back to NRF 15.
Same story for Kasey Kahne, as Kasey had a good car at the start of the race, but had fallen back because he believes he also used up his stuff. Let's end with Caleb.
Trevor Bayne and the 6 team are holding on as Trevor's car is wicked loose in turn 4. He had a strong car earlier tonight, and unless a caution falls in Trevor's favor, his final ride in the 6 car will not be one to remember. Same story for William Byron. He started in the 4th position, but once the green flag dropped, he knew something was wrong. He currently rides outside the top 20 and is doing all he can to stay on the lead lap before a possible caution comes out. Byron's car is tight in 1 and 2, but loose in 3 and 4. Let's send it back to the booth.
Thanks, guys. Great work down there on pit road.
Meanwhile, the gap has slowly closed as Austin Cindric has fallen a lap down. Mayfield is now, he has actually been reeling in Bobby Labonte. Jeremy Mayfield has.
And now, Jeremy Mayfield, he's doing a great job of trying to track down Bobby Labonte, but Brian Vickers says, sorry, buddy, I got the fresh tires. You don't. I am going to do my best to get up to Bobby Labonte before it's too late.
So Suarez, despite the damage, is no fluke as Brian Vickers goes underneath Rusty Wallace. And so Rusty is now a lap down.
Brian Vickers was 15th at one point, even further back than that.
So it's one thing to catch a guy, but it's another in this day of NASCAR to pass a guy. We'll see if Vickers does so, and he does so. Never mind.
And he is going to dive to the inside right here and take it away from Bobby Labonte. New leader at North Wilkesboro. It is Brian Vickers in the number 93 as the caution is out.
It's Ward Burton involved in this one.
Trouble for Ward Burton as he got to the outside wall in turn number 1. Caution is out here on lap 66, and what's that going to mean probably? Pit stops.
So Brian Vickers winning the race back to the line. He has dethroned the number 80 of Bobby Labonte from the lead, and these guys will come in. We'll send it down to our pit reporters.
Let's start with our leader and Luis Torres.
Vickers likes his car. He asks for no chases as he will come on in, take 4 fresh tires, and enough fuel to make it to the finish. To William.
Man, Bobby Labonte and that 80 team are ecstatic over the radio for this caution. He believes that now he has a fighting chance. The team will take a round of wedge out and give Labonte 4 fresh tires. The 15 of Mayfield is also grateful for this caution, as he's mentioned all weekend long how awesome it is for him to be back on the NASCAR circuit for this weekend. 4 tires, fuel, and air pressure adjustment for the 15 team. Now to NRF 15.
The 42 of Larson is glad for this caution, but said over the radio that if this is the last caution, Larson can take the older tires to the front and win the Summer Showdown. 4 tires, fuel, and a wedge adjustment for the DC Solar Chevrolet.
Thanks, guys, as Bobby Labonte, I believe, just nicked out Brian Vickers as Vickers is trying to storm away, but I believe Bobby Labonte is first off pit road.
Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 5th caution of the night here at North Wilkesboro.
Here it is, Julia Landauer, Natalie Decker, and Ward Burton.
You see right here, Natalie Decker getting right in the Ward Burton entering turn number 1. Burton thought he had her cleared, but he did not. And Burton getting sent to the outside wall there is Natalie Decker.
Decker did not lift, unfortunately for Ward Burton. Oh, Bubba just scraped by. Can Edward scrape by? Whoa! Great job by Bubba Wallace and Carl Edwards just to avoid that one.
Ward Burton at one point was second in this race, but unfortunately, unless something miraculous happens, I think Ward Burton's day has come to an end. He's still on track, he's still on the lead lap, but positioning-wise, he is much farther back than what he wanted to be. So as the cars are taking their base laps here, let's go ahead and let's take a race break as we're going to go back to the NASCAR Podcast Hotel, and we're going to take it back to Jarrett, Eric, Darian, and Danny. Let's start with Jarrett. A lot has happened so far. What has stand out for you guys?
I would say Stenhouse getting his lap back twice. And he didn't have any lucky dog to help him out. He's currently running in 17th and has 30 laps to get to the front. Eric?
Bobby Labonte's dominance. Labonte's led the most laps tonight. You know, Vickers and Deegan were able to get by him on better tires, but now they all have fresh, equal tires. Can Bobby Labonte return to the front? That's what I'll be watching.
Alright, I would say the long green flag run we just had, honestly, I thought this race was going to be a total wreckfest. And sure, we had a few cautions, but these guys were able to race 23 green flag laps, and because of that, lap times will fall drastically. It'll be interesting to see how this race unfolds. Danny B?
Haven't talked about it much, but I would say the performance by Junior Premium Motorsports. Except for ELLIOTT SADLER out of the race, the rest are in the top 10. Jeremy Mayfield and Dale Jr. are 4th and 5th, and Terry Labonte has just entered the top 10 after an excellent pit stop. They are in an excellent spot for a good night.
Alright, gentlemen, only 30 laps to go. Who do you think gets the job done tonight?
I'm going to stick with my original pick, Kyle Larson. He's currently in 7th, but I think he's here to stay. Darian.
You know, I'll stick with Hailie Deegan. She's already proved a lot of us tonight, and don't be surprised to see her win as well. Danny?
I'm going to go with Vickers. The damage that Vickers has is the same damage from his round 2 heat race, and he won that race. Expect him to come back strong tonight. Garrett?
Surprised none of you guys picked Bobby Labonte. He's led the most laps tonight, and he's still leading. Expect Bobby to take home the trophy tonight.
All right, that'll do it for us until the post-race show. Let's send it back to Griff, Benny, and Gino.
Thanks, guys, up at the podcast booth. Greatly appreciate you guys helping me out with this event. And so we have 67 laps complete here, and after pit stops, everything is even out. Bobby Labonte is still your leader, but Brian Vickers is hot on his heels in 2nd. Now, beforehand, Brian Vickers was in the lead because he had fresh tires, but now everyone has fresh tires. So, can Bobby Labonte hold off Brian Vickers? Will Brian Vickers pass Labonte? What about Hailie Deegan? Will she be able to get up there? How about the other drivers? Kasey Kahne, Jeremy Mayfield, Kyle Larson. Any of them have a strong chance now as they all have equal tires. What's going to happen? Well, the field has taken to 1 to go, and we're going to get right back into the action. The field has gotten to 1 to go once again here in North Wilkesboro as we have 70 laps complete. When we hit the green, we're going to only have 30 laps to go.
Bobby Labonte in the number 80 started on the pole. He's led the most laps so far. And now that everybody has fresh tires, he might be able to get the advantage as he has had one of the fastest race cars of the night. He leads Brian Vickers, Hailie Deegan, Jeremy Mayfield, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the top 5 coming to the restart. 3 Penske guys on the inside a lap down, as well as Ty Dillon and Matt Tifft.
We got Logano to the inside once again. And we got a lot more lap cars to the inside on this one. This is going to be interesting. Can Bobby Labonte clear Logano with Vickers behind him? Vickers is a much tougher contestant this time as we roll through the restart zone up to the gears, and we are green once again here at North Wilkesboro.
And Labonte getting shuffled at a line. Brian Vickers to the inside for the race lead with 30 laps to go.
He goes from top to bottom, and Vickers side by side with Bobby Labonte for the lead. Into turn number 4, Logano swings a little high, and Hailie Deegan is all over the back of Brian Vickers.
But she can't get there. Brian Vickers is going to hold her off and keep her at bay. Vickers controls the point here at North Wilkesboro. Ty Dillon clogging up Kyle Larson's lane, trying to get to Jeremy Mayfield.
And there goes Deegan, pushing the 93, trying to push him out of the way, unable to make the pass. Brian Vickers holds on and wins the race back as Julia Landauer, Natalie Decker, and Terry Labonte go around in turn 4.
Terry Labonte started last on the field. He had a dismal qualifying time, and that's why he started last. But more problems for the 5 team. Terry Labonte, as we mentioned before, is teammates with both Dale Earnhardt Jr., ELLIOTT SADLER, and Jeremy Mayfield, in which all 4 of them are in the A main. And it looks like a couple ladies were involved in the wreck, as Natalie Decker has quite a bit more front-end damage, and then Julia Landauer also got involved.
But in the meantime, Vickers was an animal in that restart, getting by Bobby Labonte, the dominant leader of this race, up to the 3/4 mark, and looks like Vickers is the new dominator of this race.
15, do you have an update on Terry Labonte?
Major issues for the 5 team. The fuel tank has a major puncture to it and cannot hold any fuel. They are going to the garage and are done early with less than 25 laps to go. Natalie Decker has also gone to the garage. She has too much damage to the front of her car. She's been grateful for Rick Hendrick for giving her an opportunity to race. And even though her night is done early, she has nothing to hang her head on.
So Terry Labonte has gone behind the wall. Let's see what happened to bring out this caution. Into turn number 3, Terry Labonte was pulling a Christopher Bell as he was trying to dive underneath Matt Tifft, not for position as Tifft was lapped down. Dale Jr. gets into Matt Tifft a little bit as Jr. swings a little high. Did Jr. get into the outside wall? No, good driving by Jr., but Terry Labonte gets loose into the outside wall, some more rear end damage for the 5 car, and then Natalie Decker pulls a Tommy Joe Martin's nowhere to go, and it looks like Julia Landauer also nowhere to go as those two get into each other.
Yeah, definitely Terry Labonte. All Terry on that one. Texas Terry tried to drive it in there, but Matt Tifft, fortunate enough for him, he scraped by this wreck, and unfortunate for Natalie Decker. And Chase Elliott, don't tell me once again, that guy, he must have a horseshoe in that steering wheel today, because Chase Elliott has barely missed 2 wrecks now. Holy cow, Chase Elliott doing a great job of wreck avoidance here in North Wilkesboro as we get ready once again for more racing here at North Wilkesboro.
Field has gotten the one to go here. 77 laps are now complete as we're going to have 23 laps to go here in Summer Showdown.
Brian Vickers has found his way to the lead. It seems like Bobby Labonte's dominance has faded for the night. Vickers and Haley Deegan look very strong as they come to the restart with Mayfield in 4th and Larson in 5th. Labonte is 3rd.
It's Brian Vickers in charge over Haley Deegan. As we mentioned earlier, the damage from Vickers on lap 40. Sideways through the field. Back in the pack. But look at him now. Perseverance and execution have put Vickers into the race lead. The race is in his hands. It's his to lose tonight. The green flag is back in the air. We are racing again in North Wilkesboro.
And Brian Vickers and Logano are side by side. Logano raising heck for Brian Vickers as they go into turn number 3, and Deegan. I wonder if Deegan can do anything as Deegan slips a little bit high, and Bobby Labonte is going to look through the middle, but Deegan has a strong run through turn number 4. Down into turn number 1 again as we are now currently with 22 laps to go. Vickers is still side by side with Joey Logano.
But Deegan might just push the 22 past the 93. 3 wide back in there. Couple of lap down machines, and Kyle Larson to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Labonte in the outside wall. Gregson, Mayfield, Jr., and McMurray all to the inside of the number 80. The dominant guy of the night has faded, and he's falling outside the top 10.
Looks like Stenhouse is going to try Bobby Labonte for that 8th position. And then there is Haley Deegan getting by Joey Logano. And Dale Jr. working his way up. He was almost involved in that last crash, but look at him now, up to 4th place. And then there's Jamie McMurray.
Jamie McMurray, the C-Main winner, is challenging Noah Gregson for 5th. And look at the blue car. That is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That is for position. I haven't covered him much as Stenhouse is now in the top 10. He was a lap down twice. And now here he is with less than 20 laps to go, 19 to be exact.
And unfortunate enough for Bobby Labonte, the dominator of this race, is he going to fall outside the top 10? What a highlight that would be for these drivers if they've seen that green machine out front all night long. But unfortunate for Bobby Labonte. So Larson's had a quiet run today, but a very solid one at that. Moving in to 3rd place, trying to get by Joey Logano, the lap down highlighter machine.
Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, and Kasey Kahne. Jimmy Johnson goes around. Julia Landauer as well. Phil Parsons in the 72.
Landauer has more damage. Phil Parsons, lots of front end damage to that car. And coming to the line, Haley Deegan was side by side with Brian Vickers. Haley Deegan thinks she's ahead. but Brian Vickers is actually in front.
That could be crazy, but I think Vickers, he has scored the race leader by the slimmest of margins. He got fortunate. He'll have to buy Phil Parsons a steak dinner if he ends up winning this one.
Vickers will drive around her here as Deegan had a run, but the caution was already out, so it didn't matter. As Vickers won the race back to the line, Vickers is going to have to work hard to keep that 76 behind him, because once we're within 10 laps to go, those lap down cars are not going to be in that inside lane.
I don't believe anyone is going to pit here, so let's go ahead and let's look at the replay here as Phil Parsons is on pit road. I don't know if he's going to go to the garage or not, but while that is going on, let's go ahead and see a replay here to see what brought out this latest caution here at the 2018 Summer Showdown.
Looks like this was a combination of two wrecks in one. Starts in turn 4. These drivers are driving crazy. SUAREZ really digging it there, and they're just going to run out of room here. Watch as Johnson is going to get up in the Kevin HARVEY. HARVEY gets hit, but much like Joey Logano earlier on, keeps it going. This is just like the Brian Vickers incident, and then there's back in the field is Julia Landauer, Ward Burton, and Phil Parsons into it. Nobody hits Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson was in the middle of a 3-wide situation. He came up on Kevin HARVEY, who has had a struggling night. All these guys in the back have had a struggling night. That 48 machine going around. Julia Landauer as well in the back. That might have been a separate incident as Phil Parsons ran right into her. Parsons with heavy damage in the 72. He has been off pace all night long, and it's going to add to his slowness. That incident right there on the number 72. Landauer around for the second time tonight. Jimmy Johnson, his first issue of the night. He has a fairly clean race car compared to the rest of the field. Unfortunately, got caught up in the 7th caution of the night here in North Wilkesboro. William, do you have an update on Kevin HARVEY?
Napa fan, the 4 of HARVEY is very upset with the 48. From HARVEY's point of view, it looked like Johnson swerved up into HARVEY. Johnson did take the blame for the wreck, saying his tires did not stick as well as he originally intended. Not too much damage for the 48, but it's nearly impossible for him now to win tonight. Louise?
Julia Landauer wanted to apologize to Phil Parsons and Ward Burton. Julia tried to get in a hole that was not there, but Phil had nowhere to go. Julia and Phil are both on the track and on the lead lap, but significant damage will set them back for the rest of the showdown. Back to the booth.
Alright, so we have gotten the 1 to go here in North Wilkesboro.
But up front, it's all about the top 10. Brian Vickers, who was the winner of round 2, heat 2, is your leader. Hailie Deegan, who shocked everyone by winning the 4th heat of the first round, is in 2nd. Kyle Larson, who had a strong C main and B main, is 3rd. Dale Jr., in probably his final start in the Cup Series, is 4th. And then Jamie McMurray, the winner of the C main, is 5th, followed by Noah Gragson, Ricky Stenhouse, Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, Kasey Kahne, your top 10.
Will Brian Vickers be able to hold on and win? Health issues keeping Vickers out of the car full time. This would be a monumental moment for the number 93 team.
The green flag is getting ready to be dropped, and it is in the air, waving away. The cars are going into turn 1. Vickers clears Logano. That's big for Brian Vickers. He's got to stay in front of that number 22 because he's been a menace on these late race restarts as of late, but he has no help to Brian Vickers as he just lets Hailie Deegan get to his outside.
But no dice as they come off of turn number 4 as they are 2 and 3 wide farther in the back. As we have a lot of racing here as Deegan has cleared Logano.
Hailie Deegan looking to become the first female winner in the Cup Series. She's right behind Brian Vickers. She's closed in the past couple of laps. Will Vickers have anything for the number 76 Toyota?
There's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. making a 3 wide with Austin Cindric. He's just going to be, I'm out of this one, backing out. Austin Cindric's seen enough of this day. He's ready to be done.
Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman just outside as they're 4 wide farther behind. Austin Cindric up high trying to get out of it as Kasey Kahne, Bubba Wallace, and Trevor Bayne were trying to move on through. More 3 wide farther in the back, but let's move to the front.
There's Hailie Deegan and Brian Vickers up front. Just 0.3 of a second separate these two race car drivers. Both at equal speed, it seems like, trading lap times here in this final stages in North Wilkesboro.
Hailie Deegan is right there, less than 1/4 of a second on Brian Vickers. This is a short track, so Hailie Deegan has got a little experience in the short track, but never at the famed North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Hailie Deegan, looking to become the first female winner in the Cup Series.
But Chase Elliott's car is finally coming in late in the going here at North Wilkesboro. I believe he is out of time.
So he's going underneath Alex Bowman now. Bowman is 10th, not anymore. Move Chase into 10th. Christopher Bell is 9th. And we got to move on up as Noah Gregson 8th. And then we got Jeremy Mayfield 7th. Ricky Stenhouse 6th. And then you got McMurray 5th, Junior 4th.
Which Jamie McMurray currently holds. Just a quick shout out to McMurray. He had a great run in the C-Main to get into this event, and he's made the most of it tonight.
Hailie Deegan and Brian Vickers with 5 laps to go. Hailie Deegan is right there in turn number 3. Chase Elliott is 10th, and Chase is moving on up as Noah Gregson has slipped up high, and Gregson's going to lose 2 spots to both Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. 4 laps to go as Brian Vickers down the back straightaway is still holding on. Larson, Jr., McMurray, they're slowly gaining on the 2 leaders, but I don't believe it's going to be enough. In the turn number 3, Ty Dillon is moving on up, and Ricky Stenhouse is all over the back of Joey Logano. Logano has been a lap down pretty much the entire race. As Stenhouse out, we got to give an attaboy to Ricky Stenhouse.
Hailie Deegan might have used up her tires. The tire wear is starting to come into effect for these guys. 2 laps to go for Brian Vickers in the 2018 Summer Showdown.
But meanwhile, the race up front, 2 laps to go. Hailie Deegan trying to catch down Brian Vickers, trying to do what no woman has done before in the Cup Series, and that is win a race. She's got the preferred lane through 3 and 4, but Vickers, he's not going to go down without a fight. Coming to the white flag, side by side.
White flag is out. Hailie Deegan is your leader. In turn number 1, Hailie Deegan is now cleared. Can Brian Vickers do the crossover?
Is he going to make the dive bomb, or is Deegan going to run away with it through 3 and 4? One final shot.
It's not a last lap pass, but Hailie Deegan and the number 76 will clear and win the 2018 Summer Showdown here at North Wilkesboro.
Unbelievable. Hailie Deegan has done it at 17 years old. Oh boy, she is going to be a huge threat here in the future. As Deegan is your winner here, congratulations to her.
And wins the first ever race at North Wilkesboro since 1996. What a job by Hailie Deegan, winning tonight's race over Brian Vickers, an emotionally charging victory. An emotionally crushing one for Brian Vickers, this is a tough one, because these are both great stories, but Deegan wins it, and Vickers comes home second. Third today was Larson. Fourth, Dale Jr. running at the top 5 was McMurray, Stenhouse, Elliott, Mayfield, Christopher Bell, and the 81 of Noah Gregson finishes your top 10 in today's race.
How about an attaboy to Chase Elliott, moving all the way up to 7th. He was not much of a contender throughout the majority of this race, but he's in the top 10. Alex Bowman just misses the top 10, finishing in 11th. Bobby Labonte, who had a dominant car all race long, is in 12th. Trevor Bain is in 13th. Carl Edwards 14th. Bubba Wallace 15th. Then we got the rest of the top 20. KESELOWSKI, Daniel Suarez, Kasey Kahne. Dismal finish. He had a strong car at the beginning, has really fallen off, finishing 18th. William Byron 19th, and then Ryan Newman in 20th. Then we got the rest of the top 30 here. AJ finishing in 21st. Jimmy Johnson salvaging a 22nd finish. Julia Landauer was able to come back and finish 23rd. Kevin Harvick dropped to 24th. Ward Burton 25th, pretty much where he was after his wreck in the middle of the race. Kurt Busch was not really much of a contender at all, finishing 26th. Ryan Preece 27th. Cody Ware was able to finish on the lead lap, finishing in 28th. Phil Parsons, last car on the lead lap, finishing in 29th. Joey Logano, after his early pit issues, finishing in 30th. Ty Dillon, Rusty Wallace, Matt Tifft, and Austin Cindric all finished a lap down, with Cindric finishing in 34th. Then Natalie Decker and Terry Labonte from that wreck finished 35th and 36th. Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, and Paul Menard were all out from that earlier wreck. And then rounding out the field, Tommy Joe Martins, Ryan Blaney, and then we got Elliott Sadler and Daniel HEMRIC finishing in last.
Hailie Deegan, Kevin Reed Jr., her crew chief, Billy McNally, the team owner, getting it done here tonight at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And what an amazing event we had here tonight. 7 cautions in this event. But thankfully we were able to race it with a green flag finish, and Hailie Deegan, definitely a fan favorite driver, in victory lane for this special event here tonight.
Now it's time for the post-race show. Here to start it off, let's get some final words from Benny and Geno. Let's start with you, Benny. What are some of your thoughts after this race?
Well, first off, I gotta give a huge congratulations to Hailie Deegan on this victory. I'm not 100% surprised by her victory at all, especially considering that she won her first heat race yesterday, and considering the other guys that won heat races, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, Daniel HEMRIC, Brett Moffitt, the big three struggled this entire weekend. I mean, Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch didn't even make the main event here tonight. But the playing field was just so evened out, and Hailie Deegan, she was one of those strong cars early on in this event, and there was no surprise that she was able to race her way up there. I mean, she started 6th for this event here tonight. I got to give a huge shout out to Brian Vickers as well. I mean, he started 18th, and he did a fantastic job, led the second most laps in the event. Cool to see him come back for a race and do what he did here tonight. But one last thing, they were aggressive here tonight. 35% of this race was run under caution. In my opinion, that's a little bit excessive. I like to call that a wreck fest. But then on the other hand, I think it's kind of fitting for just how this event was. I mean, we had so many flips in all the heat races and all that, and why not? Short track, Saturday night race. It's got to be like that. And Hailie Deegan gets the win. How about that? Just an overall cool night here. Geno, any final thoughts?
Wow, was this race great. Hailie Deegan found a way to win in the final moments, and she becomes the first woman to win in the top series in NASCAR. From all the great laps that were led by Bobby Labonte, I am shocked to see him come nowhere close to winning this race. I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes in this day and age. You gotta run a full, complete race to take it all, and Bobby Labonte did not do that. But Hailie Deegan kept her nose clean and found a way to get the win at the end by just leading 2 laps. But she did it. And now let's send it down to the podcast hotel with Jarrett, Eric, Darian, and Danny. Take it away, boys.
And welcome back to the NASCAR Podcast Hotel. What a finish we had tonight. Deegan only led 2 laps, but they were the ones that mattered.
Absolutely. She may only be 17 years old, but she drove this race like a veteran tonight. No mistakes all night long. Don't be surprised if you see her on a more weekly basis in the near future.
And how about Furniture Row Racing? One last triumph before they close up shop in Denver, Colorado. They went out all with 4 teams this weekend, and 2 of them made it into the big dance. And one of them is the winner of the 2018 Summer Showdown.
Shout out to Barney Visser, the owner of Furniture Row Racing, for putting all his time and investment into his team and NASCAR. Thank you, sir, for your work. Your team's presence will never be forgotten.
All right, guys. What's your guys' biggest takeaways from tonight?
I would say if we look at the top 10 again, we had a mix of young and old blood in there. Young guns like Noah Gragson, Christopher Bell, and of course Hailie Deegan getting the win, all in the top 10. But we also had Brian Vickers, Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeremy Mayfield even in that top 10, and Bobby Labonte, who dominated for most of this race, ended up finishing 12th. So a very interesting mix in that top 10.
For me, the restarts were quite exciting, honestly. Sure, the lap down cars caused havoc for the leaders, but Stenhouse was able to race back on the lead lap twice, and would finish 6th. No waiver rounds were necessary.
For me, the Dodge should come back to NASCAR. They have some decent-looking cars and were the fastest car from qualifying, thanks to Bubba Wallace.
Speaking of coming back, bring back North Wilkesboro. This track has put on several good races in the 80s and the 90s. And from what we've seen here tonight, this wonderful track can still put on a pretty good show.
All right, guys, final thoughts?
This was an amazing Summer Showdown this year here at North Wilkesboro. I'm not sure where the 2019 Summer Showdown is going to take place, but, I have a feeling it's going to be even better than this year's.
Guys, I thought the Summer Showdown was an excellent success. We got to see some great legends from the past as well as current superstars go head-to-head of each other. It's just incredible the amount of exciting racing we saw here today. Truly a never forgettable event here, and I am so glad that I got to be a part of the Summer Showdown. I can't wait for the next one. I mean, What about you guys?
Yeah, I still just think the biggest takeaway is the different types of drivers we had in the top 10. Obviously, Hailie Deegan, gosh, so young, so talented, we already know, but really making her name for herself early on like this is important. But seeing a lot of old faces, familiar faces in that top 10 that we haven't talked about in a long time, that was a lot of fun for me to watch, I'm sure. All right, we are done here. We'll send back to Griff for the final statements. Griff, take it away.
Thank you guys so much. I could not have done this without you. Big thanks to Napa Fan. Also big thanks to GENO HARVEY. I could not have done it without you guys. The pit reporters, William Crosland, Luis Torres, NASCAR Racing Fan 2015, and Caleb Hoffman. I could not have done it without you guys. I also need to thank the podcasters of Eric, Darian, Danny, and Jarrett. I could not have done it without you guys. You guys really helped with the Hollywood Hotel, which is the NASCAR podcast hotel. Could not have done it without you guys, and so I thank you guys so much for all of your help. But that's not all. You see this beautiful track out here? You see all of this? You guys want to thank Jack Yottis, also known as Thunder98 on Sim Racing Design. He went ahead and updated this track to current form on NASCAR Racing 2003. Could not have done it without him. Thank you so much for taking your time and effort to making this track as realistic as possible. Also, to the people that helped paint these cars, I will put that in the credits here at the end of this video. Thank you guys so much. I could not have done this race without you guys. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I just want to thank you guys for constantly watching, for sticking with me through all this. This should have been done in September, but because of working 40 hours a week so that I could pay off my student loans and to be able to go to races like Kansas Speedway, thank you guys for sticking it out with me, and it's truly, truly appreciated. So coming up here, I'm going to respond to my 2018 predictions. I'm also going to talk about what it's like going to races versus watching it on TV. And finally, I'll talk about my plans for 2019. But until then, that'll do it here for North Wilkesboro Speedway. Hailie Deegan has won for the first time ever here in the Cup Series, and she did it with not a last lap pass, but with 2 laps to go, was able to get around Brian Vickers. So again, that'll do it here for North Wilkesboro. Thank you guys for watching, and so long from the revamped North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Not too much damage for the 48, but it's nearly impossible for him now to win tonight. Louise?
No noticeable damage to the front of Bell's car as he currently sits in 4th. To NRF 15.
Have a long run. Larson will be a threat for the win. To Caleb.
He said he had a fast car all weekend long and is thankful for both BJ McLeod and the Save the Speedway in their attempts to bring the Speedway back to full song. Back to the booth.
Hailie Deegan and the number 76 will clear and win the 2018 Summer Showdown.
He's not gonna get a chance at it. Hailie Deegan is gonna be the first female driver to win in the Cup Series.
And Hailie Deegan has shocked the world as she is your 2018 Summer Showdown champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for a moment of silence as we honor David Pearson,
who died on the cross to save us from our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
1996 was the last time NASCAR raced at North Wilkesboro. For many years, fans have been wanting this track to come back.
And the home of the brave.
Drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
Drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
Drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Drivers, start your engine.
Drivers, stop your engine.
Drivers, start your engine.